Protesting and the picketing that has been going on for close to a week now in Kenya. Not in Kenya, not just in Nairobi, because we had people in Nairobi, we had people in Eldoret join in. Do you know how frustrating you have to be as a leader to have the people in Lodwar, Turkana start picketing and rioting and saying enough is enough? We had guys who came out in Kitengela, Rongai, across the nation with the same message: please reject the finance bill, reject the finance bill. And before long, it was now reject the president, because things were not working and things had turned really, really violently. And let me say kudos to the social media, kudos to the power of social media, because everything that happened was being captured in real time. Those who were unable to go to the streets and march with others were online spreading the message and retweeting and spreading videos and the hashtag, so much so that we caught the the attention of everyone internationally. The whole globe was watching, and there's nothing our president hates than embarrassment, and trust me, he was. And we had a few international celebrities join in. We had Kabaka Pyramid, Jamaican star, come out and do a video congratulating the youth in Kenya and saying kudos to you guys, good job standing up for what you believe in. It is such an inspiration. And I feel like the message, especially for African nation, was Kenyans, we are inspired. We are inspired by what you're doing. We're inspired by your stance. And collectively as Africans, we are so tired of corrupt leaders. We also had activist and politician Bobby Wine actually chime into the situation and say, very concerned about the reports going on of the ongoing abduction of young activists in Kenya. We in Uganda understand the pain of illegal arrest, abductions, and enforced disappearances, which are very common occurrence in Uganda. And we also had Simi from Nigeria come in and say, you guys, I am so inspired by what you guys are doing. We had her husband come in and say, you guys, never have we, seen what has happened, and thank you so much for being such an inspiration and showing us, what, it is possible. We had Kenyan celebrities like Janet Mbugua. We had Willis Raburu in the streets, as in yani, kusema na kutenda. We even had Willie Paul outside doing the most. And I love how, all of this has brought together, different people, even media personalities that you just hate with all of your heart. Here we were retweeting, because why was I retweeting Amerix? Why was I retweeting Osama Otero? Like people I just don't like, especially on social media spaces. Here we are standing together. Me, who has been, ingrained in me that Baba is not the one. Here I was saying, Baba, I am sorry. I am sorry. And most of all, we were reposted by the Shade Room. Do you know how bad it has to be for us to be in American gossip blogs? The Shade Room was very quick to highlight what was happening in Kenya. We had CNN, with the help of Larry Madowo, report very accurately what was happening. And kudos to Larry Madowo, because he is doing the Lord's work. And I love how he was not biased. He was not trying to whitewash anything. He was reporting Africa as Africa was happening. And congratulations to you. We had this French media outlet that decided to spread this very whitewashed version of what was happening. And I'm so happy that Kenyans actually called them out and said, hey, it is not allegedly, it is not rubber bullets, it did happen. We're not alleging to anything, and they did use live ammunition. No rubber bullets were used, so stop trying to spread false information. We have Anonymous, who issued a threat but have not acted on it, so we're just wondering, what's happening, Anonymous? What's happening, our brothers in the dark? Have you abandoned us? But all in all, I am happy. Despite the loss of life, I am happy that we got to where we got. Our leaders, too little, too late.
Too little, too late.
You could have done this earlier.
You had weeks. For a bill to be even put in parliament, it has to have, first of all, have been written, right? Then the president has to have gone through it one by one, letter by letter, amalize. then he's like, you know what? I approve of this message. Not to mention the 434 pages of an alleged hidden agenda in the mix of the 300 pages. Let's not forget that part, by the way. Then he has to then take this to Parliament. Parliamentarians have to go through it and then come to actually vote for it. Vote for or vote against it. And then we have to now have the second reading and the third, and eventually it be passed to bill. And I mean to an act. And the saddest part of this all is acting as if, oh my God, this is happening?
We are out of time.
I mean, I don't even understand how ordinary Kenyans do not want to get jobs in Germany. I was just now on Twitter X Spaces, and they were talking about the fact that over 50,000 actual German nationals do not have jobs in their own country. Wewe unatuambia una export nani? Who are you exporting to go and work in Germany if Germans themselves can't find jobs? Can you explain what you mean? Proudly stating that, you know, me, I was talking to the guy, he's my neighbor, we used to sell chickens together. And when I was talking to my neighbor, when he talked to the press, apologies, when he spoke to the press and he said, you know, I think it is very important for him to understand that he was talking to the press and telling them that, yes, he's sad about what the president has not done in his community. People are having to go out of the country to find jobs. And thumping his chest, saying the way, he does not know, my neighbor, my chicken seller friend, my neighbor in Kisigoi does not know that it is my initiative that has prompted those individuals from Sigoi to actually go out of the country to work. I'm like, what are you talking about? He says with a very loud voice that 160,000 Kenyans have jobs thanks to this government. How many young people are in this country? Over and above 80% of our population is constituted of people between the ages of 0 and 35. If almost 80% of our country is constituted by people between 80 and 35, how many people are those? Out of 57 million? And then you tell us you've given us, what, 160 jobs? And then continue to thump your chest and say the housing bill was supposed to give people jobs. So you're trying to tell us we go to school, pay exorbitant fees for our degrees, our certificates, only for us to then physically go and construct houses? How long will that job last? Where's the job security in that? We are angry as Kenyans. And to be entirely honest, I loved seeing the public participation. I was scared. I was just telling Turi how scared I was. And I know 100% sure if we had the ability to all physically be there, I promise you we would have. But other obligations, parental obligations and so on. But for the people that were physically there, I have never fallen in love with my citizenship as much as I fell in love with it yesterday. It was the way you saw scores of people walking all the way from Lake Pangani, Thika Road, all the way, walking all the way into town and peacefully walking out of town after the bill was supposedly passed. It was such a beautiful scene to see people talking to each other on the road and all they're saying is like, reject, reject. It was such a beautiful thing to see. And I know sometimes we overshadow the efforts of actual people with the efforts of celebrities. We do not discount all the celebrities who have come through and said something. But the reality is, these are 1, 2, 3 celebrities in the face of millions of Kenyans who showed up yesterday, over and above 1 million Kenyans who showed up and fight and have been fighting for their rights since last week, Tuesday.
I have sought jobs for you, you know, to justify the traveling so much. I am seeking job opportunities for you outside of the countries. You know, the thing is, having your daughter as an ambassador to a European country, you know, and she's living in Europe and thriving, and then
the job too well, by the way.
And then looking for Kenyans for jobs as house girls in the Middle East and watchmen in Bahrain and truck drivers. That makes absolutely no sense.
Sending our fighters of KDF.
If our biggest export was human resource, then you would be going into fields like tech fields and saying, who are qualified here, who can work, you know, in other nations, you know. But shipping us off to other countries as fodder, you know, shipping policemen to Haiti to fight gangs,
them, by the way,
and then paying them 20,000 Kenyan shillings. What is that supposed to cover? Have you ever done shopping for 20,000? Have you ever done shopping for 20,000? What do you go home with? You know,
2 bags nowadays, I think.
it makes absolutely no sense. So imagine being in a foreign country with those few
20,000
coins,
shillings. Additional to that,
and you
have to
expect
pay
not to join the
taxes.
gangs there?
You want to pay taxes for those, and you
Oh,
also have to pay black
Lord.
tax. Don't forget that you've gone to umepanda ndege. Black tax is waiting for you. In addition to that, you're telling us we have to also be taxed. We've heard people in
And you're leaving your
diaspora-
family. What are they going to be eating while you're away?
People in diaspora are complaining about how they are heavily taxed on sending money back home. The tax, it says, oh, it's a free service, but there are so many underlying
deductions.
taxes and deductions being done as they're sending money back home. So you go get your 20K, and then you're trying to send it back to Kenya, and all it ends up becoming is what, 7,000 Kenya shillings, 10,000 Kenya shillings. How is that supposed to be sustainable? Where you are you not supposed to eat, live, and actually be a citizen?
The deduction is made actually on both.
Yes.
The sender is deducted some money,
And
the receiver is deducted some money, and all of this goes to operational cost. But it's low-key tax.
We're already paying
Yeah.
for these roads. You're claiming that, oh, we need to improve roads. We're already paying. There's an actual percentage out of my fuel, every single time I fuel, that goes to development and, what do you call it? Sustainability of roads and roadworks. So you still want to give us more. And the justifications, the only thing we have seen and we are going off topic, I apologize. The only thing we saw today, well, the president was speaking, and I am speaking from a completely biased point of view of I am a Kenyan. And I am feeling the pain. The only thing we saw were justifications, explanations that made no heads, no tails. The question of what do we do about the kids who have still been abducted, who are still missing, yeah? What are we talking about? What are we going to do about it? How do we get them back? He says, oh, we did not abduct anyone.
Si walipatikana.
Ndio Rigiji anakuja kuambia it was the security
The
service,
NIS.
the NIS that refused to give the correct information. Why haven't you fired those people up until now? Do you know there's so much anger in the way that these people are speaking, and this is after there's so much that has happened between yesterday and today. It feels insane. I feel like I've been in a week in 2 days, because yesterday he threatened us, did he not? He said we are what?
Treasonous criminals.
Treasoners, and he will accord the full power of the law to make sure that we pay for it. Peaceful protesters, looters came from nowhere,
Hired goons.
hired goons, according to Martha anyway. She said that it has been proven by their intelligence that the people who came and vandalized the city of Nairobi were hired goons. Same ones who are shooting down people in town. Live rounds. You see
I feel politicians just need to know that we cannot thank the arsonist for putting out a fire that he started. We cannot reward you for doing the job that you are supposed to do. We cannot clap for you for doing what we elected you to do. So all this looking to us and, recognize what I've done, that makes absolutely no sense.
running away in Red Cross allegedly. Well,
No.
as alleged as it would be anyway.
Running away in St. John ambulances.
Yes, and Red Cross ambulances.
And then preventing same ambulances for
From
getting
helping
people who are
dying
injured.
and injured. Like, what are you trying to tell us? Surely and honestly, what are you trying to tell us? And then with thumping your chest again and saying, we are going to reduce our own expenses. The furniture expense is going to be reduced. We already know you have spent the money. Please stop lying to Kenyans. Can you stop lying to Kenyans? We need to factory reset. That's all I can say.